think the microphone will probably pick you up pretty good from there, I think. But basically, we're doing a class on marriage and family. I'm not going to present this tape. This is just for my records because it's easier than writing everything down. But they wanted me to read chapter 3, and I'm looking at here to see if there's anything that actually holds any significance, which I'm not quite sure if it does. Because it's based on my demographics and different things, and lower class and upper class. But to me, I'm thinking that if I ask you the questions I'm going to ask you, it'll probably cover everything. So, anyway, yeah, it said read chapter 3 first, but it's, I mean, you know me, and I've been studying this for years. So, tell me the stories that you've told me before. That's what I need. I need the stories you've told me before. I don't remember what I would have told you. But, you know, like, well, this is something good I want to ask. Your parents, between Mabel and Turner, when did they meet? And, well, I don't want to say when did they meet. I know it was probably around 1920.
Around 1920.
Because they got married in 1920. But I think he had
he got out in 1919. They could have met that year.
Okay.
They got married in 20, I think.
Yeah. So what, I mean, growing up,
and Deb was born in 21. I was born in 24, and Jack was born in 28.
Yeah.
4 years. She's younger than me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So because I know, you know, she died in 41.
Yeah.
So what was...
We both had pneumonia when I was 6 years old, both of us. And the doctors gave me up because they said there wasn't nothing they could do. They told me to get white light and they gave me and they had to bathe me in alcohol, I guess, to keep my temperature down. And evidently they gave me some. I heard that. I don't know whether they did or not. But that's what they said. I guess he tried what the doctor said to. And that was in 24, it would have been 30.
About 1930.
Yeah, 1930. And I'm not sure whether, she might have been a little better when I was had bronchial, one had a lobar pneumonia. I think she had lobar and I had bronchial. And I was just told, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember trying to walk. When I got up, I had to crawl. I couldn't walk, I crawled. Because all I remember, I think I remember bumping my head on the bed or something. And let me see. Of course, I was in the first grade when I had that, and I had to repeat that grade because I was out. And she died in January 41. And she had a goiter.
Yeah.
And you could see a raised place right in here. They had a rubbing ointment on it. And but she couldn't. She'd lose things. She dropped a fry pan one time, and I know we'd be uptown, just the two of us, and she'd be pushing me out towards the street. She didn't realize it, and I'd get on the other side, hold her with her arm, and it was that. And she had a little patch over one eye part of the time. But the doctor, I don't think he ever found out what was wrong. But anyway, she kept getting worse, I guess, and my aunt lived across the street. She came over. So she had called the doctor, or the surgeon, and he come out to the house, and he knew what was wrong, you know, some of the symptoms, I guess. And he was an older man. He's the one operated on her for the throat. And she was doing fairly well for a while, and then all of a sudden she just took, and when we went to the hospital, she was in a coma. And asked Dad about it. He couldn't, he couldn't figure out what happened because she's doing so well. And Dad said the only thing he could think of was she had had a tooth pulled sometime earlier, and when they did her gum, they broke the needle off. He said he got it off, but he said if he didn't, that could have, as soon as she closed her mouth, it could have started moving and lodged in there and caused that. And anyway, that was in 41. And then I don't remember. I went to work when I was old enough anyway.
Yeah.
17, 18, something.
Right.
And let's see. And I got married at 48. And I was in the hospital one time, but the first time I was in the hospital before that, I had a abscess tooth. I didn't know it was abscess, but it was hurting a little bit. And I had a friend that was worked for the dentist, but he was out, and at my lunch time, she was going to put something on it. I thought she was going to rub just rub something on it. And she put a filling in there. And I didn't realize what she's doing. And I don't know how old I was, 18 or 19, I guess. And sure enough, that thing bothered me. I had a knot come out here on my jaw. And well, I was home by myself one day, and I walked down to Mildred's grandma's. Mildred put me to bed. And I was down there for quite a while, and I got so I couldn't eat. I couldn't open my mouth to eat. And the tablets he was giving me, I think doctor gave me some tablets or something. I couldn't hardly get them in my mouth. And I got sick at my stomach, so they called the ambulance and took me to the hospital. And they lanced my jaw. That's the first experience I had with and one of the women saw me. She might have been in the room with me. She saw me when I got in. She said, "My goodness, I thought you was a big woman," because I was forward. When she saw me, she said, "I thought you was a big woman." And let me see. You won't know what happened to me. Is that what you?
Well, I do want to ask this because with Mabel and Turner, how was it like? I mean, I know you was only 16. When she passed away.
16.
But what was,
but she worked
okay
at Vic's. And he was putting in furnaces. And she walked to work a lot from where we live, right across from Mildred. Well, you don't know where Mildred lived. And anyway, she walked some. And, well, I used to walk to work up that way, too. I don't know, I might have walked to school some. Probably did. And, but anyway, she worked for a good while. I don't remember now when she quit. And that's where they met. He was working there too. And I didn't know that until the Jacker Dad told me that. And he used to pass notes down to her on the floor she was. That's the way they met. I didn't know that for a long time.
Now, I remember seeing the little journal when they were dating.
Yeah.
He said they went to the movies and had a good time.
Yeah. I don't know what year that was, but that's where we got married, I guess.
Yeah.
Mab, he called her Mab part of the time.
Really?
M-A-B. Mab. And I'll tell you, he was a nervous wreck after that. Because one day something happened, he was putting in the furnace, and he used his hat to stop whatever was coming out of the water or something.
Oh, wow.
He was nervous, something happened to him. But he was real nervous about that. And, of course, that's natural. I see, Deb was 19, I was 16, and Jack was 12. But Mildred and Grandma lived right across the street, so that, that helped some.
Yeah.
And, let me see, Dad, when did he get sick? No, he didn't get sick until after I was married. He started when he had the heart attack. because we were out at the battleground at Sunday school picnic, and I didn't know it, but Doug took him to the doctor. They were playing softball or something. He started having pains, and Doug carried him to the hospital. So Doug come back and told us he had a heart attack, and that was, let's see,
Wasn't it 58?
he was 50-something.
Or maybe he was 58. I kept hearing 50-something.
He was 50-something, I can't remember when he had it. And he was living with us then, I think, yeah. Yeah, because he was out for a while, and then when he went back to work, he went around lunchtime and just worked, some that afternoon, just short hours. And but he worked all the time until let me see. I don't know. I guess he retired from Dick's laundry. He was working in the dry cleaning. I guess he retired because he got a job at Fordham's on Spring Garden. They worked there a little while. Because he hit his elbow on the iron stuff to hang the hangers on. He had to have surgery for that. And he had a lump in his breast one time and had to have that surgery. But, let me see. But anyway, his heart's what killed him. And he died but he didn't die till 73. So he lived at least 20 years after he had the heart attack.
Yeah. So now when you was growing up,
he had a stepmother.
Yeah, you told me.
His mother died when he was 3, and he kept running away. His father got married, had a stepmother, and evidently, they said, I didn't know this until after he died. Dub, or Jack one told me that. Maybe Dub told Jack that they had company, that she put him in the closet, make him stay in the closet. So I understand why he ran away. And he'd go to his grandma's. So he finally stayed there. She raised him. I don't know just how long that was after his mother died, but Grandma raised him. And he died in 73. He died in January 2 of 73. I believe he died the 13th. Yeah, his funeral was the 15th. And I don't know what else.
Well, now, when you was growing up, what was their marriage like?
Well, it was, I think they got along real well. I know when his grandma come around sometimes, Mama had a little problem with her. So there's something, a Dutch oven or something that she had given them. And maybe Mama didn't use it much or something. And she gave it to one of her nieces or somebody, and Mama did much like that. But I don't think she said much about it. But that was his fault.
Yeah.
But, and I know they said used to when we'd be out and buy us ice cream, they'd want us to finish it before we got back to the house so Grandma wouldn't see it. But she'd talk about turning us money. I don't know if she was with us then or not, but she was there some. And I know after, she was too. She was there some after Mama died, because, yes, she was. Because I know, she said something about my food. She didn't have no food or something. And I said, well, how about that tray Grandma brought you a while ago? Grandma Caps. And I know I was there with her. And no, I went to work. That's what it was. At a place up on Spring Garden. That was during the war. And I don't know, that worked in the shipyard. And then he went into service. And anyway, Dad had to put her in kind of like a nursing home, but it was real small, down off of Wesley Street. And she died, she was 80, or 82, I believe. She had pneumonia when she died. And,
Now that was Turner's grandmother.
yeah, his grandmother, my great-grandmother. That's the album I was talking about I've got. It's green, kind of a velour, with a little heart-shaped mirror on the front. And the handle is kind of a gold color, and it's on a rack. It's got legs and a drawer. Have you seen it upstairs?
Not yet.
Well, I guess it's wrapped. I hope I got it in a plastic bag or something.
Yeah.
Because I'd hate for it to get run. And it's got pictures of Dad in there when he was small. And
Wow.
there's a whole lot of pictures in
Yeah.
there. But that big Bible, it's down here, isn't it?
Yeah, I got it in the room over there.
That's the Bible that Mom and Dad had when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And we got a book of his from his military too.
Now that I've seen.
Kind of purple wine colored.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what else.
Well, now how did you and Granddaddy meet?
Well, I worked at out on Battleground Avenue, a dry cleaning place. And I went across a little street to this little shop over there to eat at lunch. Mr. Huff, I think his son just died. And he worked down the street at Truett Manufacturing. And he was over there eating. And I just knew his first name was all. I just knew it, I didn't know anything about it. And I saw him several times, and then later he was living with his brother and his wife over on Free Mill Road. He rode the same bus that Shirley did. And he talked to Shirley. Anyway, he came to church one Sunday. She told him about church, and he come over there. And so I knew who he was when I saw him. And I think he took me home that day. So that's when I first met him, really. I don't know how long it was before we dated.
Wow.
And Dad knew James, his brother, from the service station up on where Leon's is now. Used to be a service station there. Mr. Coble run it. Dad used to go up there to trade. He'd drink Cokes, I think, up there. But anyway, James would be in there, and they talked. But all I ever heard was Jimmy. I didn't know the last name. Dad talked, I heard him mention Jimmy. Him and his brother was in there, they both rode motorcycles. He talked, and I didn't have any idea who it was. But I found out later. That was his brother.
Wow.
And they called him Jimmy, so that was all Dad knew, I guess. And because I knew at the funeral home, I can't remember who was there, but he walked up to me and Jack. He said, I knew you were dead before I ever knew Doc. And I already knew it, but I don't remember when it registered.
Wow.
But I don't know, I guess that's, see what they're saying about the weather.
Much drier and chillier air will be working into the Piedmont as we head into Thursday afternoon. That's going to set the stage.
Well, when you got married, 48, September 1st.
Yeah, 48.
And so what was, because you were married 50 years, so I mean, what was...
Almost 51.
I'm
Almost 51.
Yeah, what was it like? I mean, what was your, 50 years of marriage, I mean, it covers a lot of time and a lot of knowledge, but what was it?
We usually got along pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I got married to September the 1st, and Steve was born July of the next year. And then Sharon was born eight years later. And Steve was breech, so that might have been a reason. It was that long in between, I don't know. And because I know I couldn't lose my weight on my weight after she was born, and I tried diet pills. I might have told you about getting sleepy.
Yeah.
I take one in the morning, and I couldn't eat my supper. I'd just sit down, and I just didn't want to eat. I said, I've got to go lay down. And I know Joe, one time he woke me up, said, it's time, did you go to bed? And I don't know how long it had been, but I guess they were in the bed, Steve and Sharon. So I quit taking them things. It's not.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm just curious. I imagine the first pregnancy was planned.
What?
I imagine the first pregnancy was planned. What about, I mean, I'm just curious.
No, I don't know if it was really planned or not, but.
I mean, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know if it was
I might have to turn the tapes off.
I don't know if it was really planned or not.
I mean, no, I was just wondering because it was an 8-year, an 8-year difference.
I don't know. I don't know what, I don't know what it was. It was because of him being breech or what.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, everything. I'm curious for myself too. I mean, but everything was. I mean, everything stayed. Everything was normal.
Yeah.
Everything for the 8 years.
I didn't have much health problems then, but of course, he had arthritis from sleeping on the frozen ground while he's overseas. He had arthritis. His hands used to swell up on top here when he was working at McDonald's. The man that owned the place saw it one day, and he said, "What in the world?" And he used to soak his hands in warm water sometimes when it swelled like that. But I don't know why they were swelling when he was working over the grill. Looks like they wouldn't have then, but
yeah, that is strange.
Anyway, and he always had trouble with his stomach.
Yeah.
And he had that plate in his head, and I think that was Laurel's nerves. And then he had ulcers and all of it together. But that was about all he had with his stomach, but it had gotten better. His stomach had gotten better when he started having the heart problems.
Yeah. So,
and we didn't, let's see, he was 32 when he started preaching? He was in his 30s anyway. He's at least 30. Anyway, Steve was small, I'm not sure. Well, Steve might have been in school the first time he preached, a trial sermon. That might have been his first trial sermon, I'm not sure. At Deep River Friends. And he pastored and drove, back and forth from Greensboro for 11 years and worked at National Biscuit. And that was hard. That was hard on him. And then when he went full time, when we moved in 1968 up to Yadkinville, Deep Creek. And then we moved, it's quite a few times.
yeah.
I've written them down, I can't remember, I had to write them down. And but part of his job of churches, he worked some too. He down Pine Woods he worked, and I did too. And he didn't have a church for about 3 years, and it was in Asheboro. And he worked at McDonald's, and I did too. And he worked at the pantry some while he was doing that. And I know Mr. Whatever, I can't think of his name now, that owned McDonald's. He talked to Joe about that. Thought that might be dangerous, in the pantry, because you're usually by yourself. And anyway, we moved from there down to Pine Woods, I think. Yeah. Anyway, we moved quite a few times, and when we lived there, we went to Spring Garden, when you was 2.5, I think, when we moved over there.
Wow.
So you know what happens, that's,
Yeah.
most of that time anyway.
So what,
You might not remember it all because you're so young. I know Johnny, I can't think of his last name. He, when they helped us move and when they left, he told you to grow up to be a big boy. Because that's the way he worded it.
What was it like being a pastor's wife?
Well, most of the time it was pretty good. We got along pretty good. And I don't think they expected too much out of me. I mean, like teaching, and, and I couldn't play the piano. And, and Sharon played some down at Oakland when we were down there. And she was a teenager. And I never had much trouble with anybody, except I was up at East Bend. Joe was on he was pastoring there, and he was on the radio, had devotions on the radio. I don't know, he might have been every morning. I don't know if it was every morning for a week or what. And if somebody died, and he wasn't there, or we wasn't there for the lunch, they served lunch, And we wasn't there, in the Sunday school class, she said something about it. And I don't know if she didn't know I was in there or not, but I said, well, he was at the hospital. After he was on the radio, he went to the hospital for a visit. So he was over there. And see, I was at home, so I really didn't have a way to go. I guess somebody would have come after me if I'd asked them. And she didn't like that because she went out. She got up and went out. And during the service, I said something to her, and she got up and walked around all the way around the other side, sat down over there near the choir. Her husband was over that way. So I didn't have nothing else to... But Steve remembers how she was. But he didn't know about that, I don't guess. But I know he told me some time ago that he worked for what did he work for, a funeral home or something? He worked for something up there. When he was home on leave from in service. And they went to her house for something. I can't remember what it was now. And she comes to the door in a nightgown. I said, well, heaven's sake. I think that got him. Because she's old. She's an old woman. And I think she knew better than that. But they never had any children. Her and her husband was kind of, because they said something about it when they were East Bend. And we moved from Deep Creek over to East Bend, so they could both go full time. And he had something to say about the rooms, what color they painted them, like we let Sharon pick out the colors. And she didn't pick out the colors. The man who was going to do the painting did. He asked what she liked, because he figured it was pink. And I didn't tell him anything. Cream color had been fine for me all over the house. Something like this. But we never had much trouble. I know Joe one time down at Piney Woods said he come home from, I don't know, his business meeting or something. And he said Mac, one of the members, he was upset because they had took his son's name off of the book because evidently he didn't come to church anymore. Something. And but Joe didn't have nothing to do with it, no guess. And he said he was so upset he couldn't stand still. but I didn't see that. But usually most time you get along with people. I know somebody died down at when we was at Oakland, and Joe was there. Joe went over there, and he had mopped floors, and I don't know what else he done, but her son came after the church when he came to the parsonage there's something in the church, flowers or something. I'm not sure what it was. And I went over there with him with the key to open the door, and he told me walking over there about him rolling up his shirt sleeves and mopping. Joe didn't mention it, but he told me that. So he got along, I think he got along with everybody. And I know one time Shirley, one of the members, was over there when he was. And he had on some blue plaid pants that Steve was saying they'd give him. She said, I know you didn't buy those pants. He said, no, I didn't. My son and his wife gave them to me. She just didn't think it looked like him.
Well, as far as like, I don't know, I mean, one thing was, how did you guys, whenever you did have a disagreement, or an argument, or whatever, how did you
We
guys?
used to just talked it out and settled it. But we didn't disagree very much. I mean, he's always buying me stuff when he was with National Biscuit, and he traveled. And he'd buy me dresses. I know a navy blue two-piece. I got a picture made of Violet Life one time at Easter that he bought me somewhere. And he just see a store close to where he delivered, I guess, and something in the window or something. Anyway, he bought, I don't know how many things he bought. I've got a lot of dresses that he bought, and I didn't know nothing about it till he got one time, he got something that was too big. A suit, the sleeves was way too long. Oh, Pine Rouge gave us money at Christmas, that's what it was. He bought me a suit from Belk's. And it was a nice suit, and I think it fit pretty good, except the sleeves was, and a new suit, you don't want to start messing with it like that. So he took it back, got something else.
Yeah.
And that red sweater vest he had, they gave him that down there. Or either, I don't know if they gave it to him or he got it with the money that they gave him.
Yeah.
But usually, we didn't disagree very often.
That's a good thing, though. I think it's interesting.
You might disagree, but you don't argue anything,
Yeah.
You just sort of, you don't see eye to eye on it, but
But it's kind of agree to disagree.
you really don't. You don't get upset about it.
Yeah. It sounds like,
I don't remember pouting or, saying anything I shouldn't. And Sharon told me I said some things when she was a teenager, but I don't remember. So it must have been my hormones or something. I sure don't remember anything about it.
But it's, and I told I talked to Shanti about it one time. I think, especially as a woman, men go through it too.
Yeah.
Because men have testosterone, so they're more explosive and everything.
But some women are terrible. I've heard about them throwing things at their husband. And, just terrible things. I don't remember ever saying anything, but she said I did to her. Really, I said something to her, and he, wanted to stop me, whatever it was. But you know how teenagers are.
Yeah.
So I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing I know.
Yeah. But, it's, to me, I think, it's normal. I think, when I was a teenager, I had a bad temper. And even in my early 20s.
Yeah.
I've had a bad temper. I've really dealt with it, And then I think I told Shanti this the other night. I said, because we were talking about her temper. And she's, she told me how she was 10 years ago compared to now. I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't meet you back then, she's, she still gets irritated once in a while or whatever, but handles it. Excuse me. But get the point I was about to make. I told her, I said, the one thing my mama used to tell me, and I told her two things. My mother used to say to me, you ain't never gonna find a wife if you keep acting like this. That's one thing. And another thing, I told Shanti, me and Shanti were, I was talking to her last night, and I said, because we was talking about, can't remember what it was. We had a long conversation last night. Probably, it was up till 1 o'clock, just talking. And I can't even remember what we were on exactly. But one of the things I said to her, I think we were talking about, basically the flesh, so to speak, how, we had imperfections and whatnot. And I told her, my mother used to say something to me when I'd get off the wall or whatever, I'd throw a suitcase across the room or whatever. Mother would used to say to me, she said straight up, she said, I don't like it. I don't like that side of you. I don't like this side of you. And I think, things like that, it may not help at the time, but I think eventually it does.
Yeah.
Some things it takes a while for it to sink in.
Well, that might be the way Dale was.
Yeah.
That could be, I don't know. She talked like he was something. And she didn't tell us anything. When she came home, she did not tell us anything. Have you still got that thing going?
Yeah. What was you saying?
That Dale, you don't want me to have that?
No, it don't matter. Nobody's gonna hear this but me, probably.
She didn't tell me anything. He brought her home and he said, when I get to have a place to live and a job, I'll come back. And sometime after that, his mother called. Sharon was sitting there in the den, close to, right at the kitchen. You don't remember how it was down at Pine Woods, I did. But she was sitting over there on that couch where the little TV was. And her mother called, his mother called. And he said that if Sharon wanted her things, she better come get them. Because he was moving a woman in over there, and that was their trailer, I guess, with a child about 7 years old.
Mm-hmm. Hang on a second.
If she wanted her things, she better come get them.
Hang on. This is Mom. Hello. Hey. I'm interviewing grandmother. Is it okay if I call you back? I'm interviewing grandmother. Can I call you back? All right. Bye.
Anyway, you see, Sharon got her a lot of stuff at Pine Woods, a shower. Dishes and coffee maker and a whole lot of stuff.
And Dale took it all, didn't he?
I think he brought some stuff one time, but a lot of it was something of his, something old. We got some silverware, it must have been his. Somewhere he got. And there's a few dishes. That little dish on the stove with the bowl with the burgundy stripe.
Mm-hmm. Now that, I remember, why is the phone ringing now?
He had them.
Hey.
The plates and cups.
Hello? Something about a credit card account. Anyway,
and all I said to his mother, I said, well, we'll see. Because, see, he said he was coming back. She hadn't told me anything. So I didn't want to upset her. So I didn't tell her. But then I got a letter. I got a letter from his mother. We still got it somewhere. And she said, oh, I know something. Her husband thought they had our washer and dryer. They had our washer and dryer, and her husband thought that he might try to sell it. So he brought that back. He brought the washer and dryer back because he knew he better not do that. But Joe had sent her a check to pay on the car or something. And do you know he cashed that check? Posted his name on it and signed it and used it at the grocery store. And sometime later, somebody called from the store down there. I don't know why he had that.
let me go ahead and get this. I'll turn the TV off.
Why he had that check.
Yeah, let me get this real quick.
What do you have to get for me?